Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Brew live on Brew Sports. I am Baxter Colburn. I hope your Tuesday is going well so far. We welcome you inside the studio alongside myself. We have Jaymee Evers as well, too. Good morning, Jaymee. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing pretty good, honestly. Happy National Pancake Day.
Happy National Pancake Day.
I know that you were eating a big stack of pancakes before we got on the air this morning.
I was. You caught me.
You're a big
Red-handed.
pancake. Are you like the Hamburglar? You're the pancaker?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that. I don't know. I mean, people, I feel like there's so many different things that they like to talk about for National this, National that, National Frosting Day, National Drink Beer Upside Down on a Bicycle Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. People do all kinds of weird things. But
Love your pet day.
well, I feel like you should love your pet every day.
Well, right.
You know? Or like National Sisters Day. It's like, what, are you actually supposed to not be crappy to your sisters the rest of the year? Like, oh, great. Like, I don't have sisters, so I don't ever know what to do with myself on that day. I'd be like, well, yeah, I love you, brothers. You're like sisters to me. I don't know. I never know what to say to them, honestly. But we welcome you inside the studio. We are excited to have you along with us. We'll be joined in our second segment by NHL.com's Robbie Stanley. So it'll be good to have him on the program to chat a little bit about the state of the NHL. He does work down in that Nashville area as well, too. So we'll check in and see how the Predators are doing. And just in general, see what the state of the NHL is as well. But some exciting things to get to, of course, right off the bat this morning. Have you settled down a little bit more, Jaymee, after yesterday? I know it was a lot.
Yeah.
I was a little emotional for you, and I didn't mean to scare you. What was going on?
We're good.
You sure?
Still single. We're good.
She's still single, just FYI. So the voting and the roses are still yet to be handed out, basically. But we are thrilled to have you to be a part of our morning. Good morning, Brew. Good morning, Liz. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let us know the first thing of the day, of course, the big order. Do you care that it's National Pancake Day? Do you partake in such a thing?
Do you even like pancakes?
Do you like pancakes? You said that you don't like syrup.
Yeah. I mean, I do to an
Do you?
extent. It's just the smell of it that I find it very unappetizing.
But do you? So you don't use syrup then on
No,
pancake
I do.
syrup? But you do.
Yeah.
But you don't like the smell of it.
Right.
But why use it if you don't like the smell of it?
I think because
That seems strange to
so
me.
I think it smells like a. This is gonna be you're a new dad, so maybe you're not gonna like this comment.
No, it's fine.
But like little babies, like when they're not little babies, but like toddlers, when like they're gross, like they got food on their face and like
Sure.
on their hands, like that's what syrup reminds me of, like little grimy babies.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I
Okay. My son's not old enough yet for me to deal with the griminess of that, but I will keep that in mind when he's
And like
old
you
enough.
can't get syrup out of their face. You know what I mean? Like it's just
I feel
everywhere.
like you had a bad experience as a kid,
Maybe,
being like,
yeah.
I can't get the syrup out
That
of my
might be
fingers.
it.
You use the fork, Jaymee. That's why they give you the fork.
That could be it.
Either way, it is National Pancake Day. If you are partaking in it, let us know. Brew says IHOP has free pancakes, so there's that. I've done that a couple times. As a college student, that was the big deal. It's like, hey, guys, we for sure can get at least one free meal a year by going to IHOP on National Pancake Day. Totally did that.
Do you have to buy something first? Like,
No.
No,
You
you
can
just
walk
walk
in.
in.
A lot of people just get a short stack of pancakes and a water, and that doesn't cost you a dime, and you're like, peace. Thanks, IHOP.
Interesting.
Now, sometimes people are actually hungry and, can justify getting other stuff as well, too. But, I mean, short stack is, 3 pancakes, I think, something like that. So 2 or 3 pancakes. So getting a free little 2 or 3 pancake thing. But it's just absolutely full, like, to the brim. I've gone on all different kinds of the day, honestly, and it's just always packed to the gills when it comes to
Is
Pancake
IHOP open
Day.
24 hours?
They are.
So does it start at 12:01?
I think so.
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, honestly. I used to work at IHOP, fun fact, back in the day. In another life, I was a host at IHOP, but I
Ooh.
don't truly know the regulations for National Pancake Day. Never worked on National Pancake Day. I missed that block, so
Poor thing.
I am not mad about that, honestly. Liz says it goes 7 to 7, just as an FYI.
Thanks, Liz.
And all the proceeds go to Children's Miracle Network Hospital as well, too. So it
Nice.
goes for a good cause as well, too. A lot of the
Nice.
Miss America title holders as well, local and state and national, all go to different IHOPs as well, too, to make appearances, to help collect donations as well for the Children's Miracle Network as well, too. So it's a really, people aren't just stuffing themselves, they are also trying to help for a good cause as well, too. So, I mean, when you only get 3 pancakes, how full can you actually get,
Right.
of course? So, keep that in mind,
Huh.
I guess. Yeah, the more you know.
The more you know.
All right, let's dive into something you like. You like hockey, right, Jaymee?
I do.
You're a big hockey fanatic. Would you call yourself a fanatic?
No, I don't think I'm a fanatic. I think I just like hockey.
That's it? You don't.
Yeah.
Are you a fanatic about any certain sports, or you're just like, if I had to choose one sport the rest of my life, I would choose this sport to watch?
Yeah, if I had to choose one sport the rest of my life, I would choose hockey. But I'm not like I can't. Like I can hold a conversation with someone about hockey, but there's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do.
Fair enough. No, I totally understand and respect that. Well, Jaymee, you brought this to my attention. There are these kids in Russia, apparently. You know more about this than I do, but give us a brief rundown of what we're about to watch here.
It's basically just a training camp or a practice or whatever for these young 7-8-year-old kids. And I can barely skate, so that they're 7 and 8 doing this. Like, I think I probably still had training wheels at 8, so...
I'm pretty positive as well, too. We're not going to show you the entire 4-minute clip, but you need to just take 30 seconds of your day and watch some of these kids.
It's crazy.
7 and 8-year-olds. Keep that in mind. 7 and 8-year-old kids watch these crazy skills.
Yeah. It's Jerry Nova. MAWC.
That skill is ridiculous, honestly. Like I said, it's a 5-minute video if you want to go watch it on YouTube, but it's ridiculous. I don't even see a lot of professionals sometimes doing what some of these 7 and 8-year-old kids are doing.
Yeah.
More power to them, honestly. I mean, I could never do something like that.
Yeah, when I saw it at first, I was like, what? And, like, I've seen, like, they have the GoPro videos where, you know, like, Patrick Kane or, you know, Crosby or whatever, like, do a little bit of stick handling, but they've also been playing this sport for 20 years. And
True.
These kids are 7.
Yes.
They can't even do
the hard part about it.
multiplication.
These kids are 7 years old, and they're already flying all over the ice in Russia, basically being like, oh, check me out. And there's a couple of highlight moves that are just like, what? Like, I forget when that kid's got, like, that one-on-one, and he, like, pulls it back, and the goalie, like, slides, and he's like, ha, boop, and knocked it in. I'm like, ha! That was fun. I enjoyed that. I mean, that's one thing I've always gotten a big fan of about with hockey is the cool goals. I mean, I played soccer, so I'm all about, you know, the scoring goals, the crazy goals, basically, and seeing that even in hockey, too. I'm just like, it's a harder net to score in, obviously. Bigger person, smaller net, hard to shoot in.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so exciting about when goals are scored, because in basketball, like, you're making hoops all the time.
Happens,
like,
all
every
the time.
2.5 seconds, something's going in the net where, like, you know, hockey's such a low-scoring game.
Yes.
That every time there's a goal, you're like,
oh my gosh,
this is the greatest day ever.
Exactly. That's why the horns make it even better, too. It's just like, oh my gosh, wow, I should probably silence my cell phone when I'm on the air. Apologies, folks. Holy cow. Anyway, wrapping up through the What's Brewing segment this morning. The Raiders, the L.A. Raiders, the Vegas Raiders. Where the hell are the Raiders anymore? Are they in L.A., I think? Is that where they officially moved now?
Unfortunately.
Pretty sure that's where they're headed. No, they're going to Vegas now. So if you haven't heard, of course, the Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders, they finally got funding to go to Las Vegas. They had a huge investor pull out, actually, a couple of weeks ago that took away $680 million. And all of a sudden you're like, well, we need $1.9 billion. What do we do now that we're $680 million short? Have you ever been $680 million short on a deal there,
I've
Jaymee?
never even been, like, no.
No? You're just like, I'm trying to even fathom what $680 million even looks like. And it's just, there's really no easy way to do that. But apparently they were able to secure the financing from Bank of America. So Bank of America trying to stay relevant in the world as a whole. I haven't heard about Bank of America for a long time. They had a big push for a while. They're pretty big down in the south where I'm from in Florida. I don't think we have too many Bank of Americans up here. So, I know everybody's obviously different, you know, with certain things. Like we have pick and saves up here. Nobody has pick and saves down where I am in Florida. We have a Publix, which is like our pick and save.
Okay.
No, Publix is up here. So the Raiders are going to officially be moving to Las Vegas after this generous help from Bank of America. So we'll have to see. Is it dumb?
I don't like the sports in Vegas. I think it's dumb.
What about the hockey?
No, it's dumb.
The Vegas Golden Knights? You're not a big fan of that?
No.
We'll have to ask Robbie Stanley when we talk to him here in just a brief moment about Vegas as a whole. I mean, he works for the league. He covers the league as a whole, too. So I'm curious to see what somebody in the league actually thinks about the expansion as well, too. And then finally, in our What's Brewing segment, it is the next Babe Ruth, apparently.
Apparently.
I don't know. From Tokyo. Shohei Ohtani Something like that. Shohei Ohtani we'll go with, basically. But he's being hallowed as the best baseball player in the world. Doesn't even play in Major League Baseball, which is arguably the best baseball league in the world, where the best players in the world come to play. Apparently, folks are saying he's wow. That's one veteran scout. He's wow. That's apparently how good he is. But he's apparently one of those just amazing players that can
all
throw
around.
the ball at 100 miles an hour. That can bomb the ball deep. I mean, he's just whatever they say it is it a 5-tool player, 6-tool player? I forget what it is. Like when you're like, oh, they can pitch, catch, run, slide, dive, spit, chew. I don't know. I don't think that. Now I'm just elaborating.
He's
honestly.
a real good.
He's a man's man. I don't know. He can do all kinds of stuff. I don't know, but it's always funny to you hear about these people. Oh, they're the next, Brett Favre. They're the next Michael Jordan. I feel like that's always the big one. The next Michael Jordan is LeBron James.
That's true.
I feel like we haven't really heard too many people compared to as the next Babe Ruth. So the fact that there is this gentleman now in Tokyo that is trying to be said next Babe Ruth makes you kind of wonder, is he actually going to be as good as people think he's going to be? Will he come to the major leagues at some point? You don't really know. I mean, there's still a lot of things really that can play into that, of course. So, all right, we should probably get to our guest, Robbie Stanley, who is waiting so patiently to chat with us. So he is a reporter and a writer for NHL.com. He also does cover the Nashville Predators as well for NHL.com. It is Robbie Stanley, and he joins us now on the Morning Brew. Robbie, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty well today, Robbie. We appreciate you taking time to join us on the Morning Brew. Jamie's already been spitting fire this morning, Robbie. I don't know if you heard her or not, saying that a professional team in any sport in Las Vegas is stupid. It's a joke. It just shouldn't happen. The NHL decided, hey, this seems like a good market. What do you make of the Vegas Golden Knights, or any sports really, joining Las Vegas as a sports market?
Well, I think regardless of what the sport is, for a market like Vegas, it's very important for them to be competitive right off the bat, simply because there are so many other entertainment options when you go to Las Vegas. If your team's not winning right off the bat, people quite simply just aren't going to care. So for the NHL, I think it's good because you have an expansion draft that's going to allow that team to probably be the most competitive expansion team in the history of the league. And it's going to have to be because, like I said, if it's not, people are going to lose interest very quickly. So George McPhee, the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, he's going to be tasked pretty early on with making sure that his expansion team is going to be the most competitive expansion team in the history of the league. And I think it has a good shot to be that way when you look at the rules of the expansion draft and the players they're going to be allowed to take from teams around the league. It's going to be important for them to get the right mix of guys in there. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything in the first couple of years right off the bat, but they can't be just near the bottom of the standings and last place in the league for 3 straight years. If Vegas hockey is going to work, they have to figure out how to win quickly. And if they can do that, I think it's got a shot. If they can't do that, it's going to be very difficult, I think, to really establish a foothold in that market.
You saw that they finally made their first ever transaction. Reed Duke from the Brandon Wheat Kings. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, he's a pretty highly touted prospect there out of the Brandon Wheat Kings. He'll be their first player in franchise history, so that's pretty cool for him. So it's good to see them. They finally got their league payments in last week, so they're officially a part of the league now. They made their first player transaction. They're able to make deals with other teams now. So it's official. They're the 31st team in the league. I think you'll see a lot of wheeling and dealing from them this summer at the draft because they need to acquire not only picks for their team, but they need to acquire some players for their prospects and their minor league team as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have a very busy summer this month of the draft.
Who is their minor league prospect team? Is that officially?
I don't even think they've announced it yet. So that's something they've got to figure out. And then once they get that figured out and who's going to be their farm system, then you got to start making players from there.
They're going to have a lot to do in a little bit of time. You said that you don't think that they're going to be making it to the playoffs in the next, couple of years, but is there anybody, we have playoffs coming up here pretty soon, that you are excited about, like that you think is, for example, Minnesota, right? They're killing it right now. I would not have thought that. How are you feeling about the playoffs coming up here?
I think it's interesting because I think for the first time in probably 10, 15 years, you can truly say that the Eastern Conference is much stronger than the Western Conference. Because you look at the Western Conference and you've got Minnesota, like you said, and then Chicago has won 12 of their past 13 games. And then there's San Jose in the Pacific Division. And really, other than that, there's not many elite teams in the Western Conference like there has been over the course of the past 10 or 15 years. So you look at the Eastern Conference this year, and especially that Metropolitan Division, you've got Washington and Pittsburgh, probably the two best teams in the league right now. Then you've got the New York Rangers and Columbus Blue Jackets. Both of those guys have had really good seasons so far this year. So I think for the first time in a long time, the Eastern Conference, top to bottom, is stronger than the Western Conference. So that's what I'm interested to see in the playoffs. I think Chicago is going to be very tough to beat in the Western Conference, especially with the way they're playing right now, having won 12 of their past 13 games. They've got 3 Stanley Cups since 2010. I feel pretty good about their chances to get out of the Western Conference this year. But I think that the Washington-Pittsburgh could potentially meet in the second round again this year, and that's really interesting to me because I think those two teams are probably the best two teams in the league, and you've got the history with Pittsburgh winning 2 cups since 2009. They've had a lot of success. Washington's always been a very good regular season team, but they haven't been able to put it together in the playoffs. I think this is the year that they're really going for it. They made the trade for Kevin Shattenkirk. They look really strong, probably as strong as they've ever looked heading into the playoffs this year. So I'm interested to see if Washington can finally break through this year because it seems to me like they've got the team to do it.
Talking with Robbie Stanley of NHL.com here on the Morning Brew. Robbie, talk to me. I made this argument a couple of days ago on the show that I think that the Western Conference Central Division is the best division in all of the NHL just because you've got at least 4 teams in the Wild, the Blackhawks, the Predators, and the Blues that are always just beating the crap out of each other, and usually the rest of the league as well, too. Am I wrong to think that the Central is the best division in all of hockey right now?
No, I think the Central really for the last 4 or 5 years has probably been the best division in hockey. When you take a look at, like you said, there's just such a competitive balance in that division. You've got Chicago. You've got a team like Minnesota this year that's played some really good hockey. You've got a Predators who's got all the talent in the world this year that when they put it together, they look like a really good team. And then the Blues, when they're playing good defense and have good goaltending, they're very difficult to beat. So they've got some really good teams in the Central this year. I think it's the Metro Division has really made some strides this year to challenge the Central Division for the best division in hockey. When you talk about your Washingtons and Pittsburghs and Columbus and New York Rangers, I think those guys have done a really good job this year of kind of evening the playing field a little bit when you're talking about the best division in hockey. But certainly over the course of the past 5-6 years, I think the Central has definitely been the best division just because there's been so much competition. And like you said, you go around and you look at their record against the rest of the league, they usually fare pretty well. So they've been a very competitive division to deal with over the past 5 years or so, and it's been something to see.
Looking at the playoffs here, just a couple of weeks away, as we've mentioned as well, too. Right now, the wild card spots, at least in the Western or in the Eastern Conference, you've got the Rangers and the Islanders sitting in the first 2 spots. Also in the West, you've got Calgary and St. Louis. Are we going to see anybody that is on the outside looking in that might maybe surprise when it comes to the playoffs? I mean, Winnipeg is not too far out. The Kings aren't too far out. I mean, they've had a lot of success the last couple of years as well, too, the Kings, and now to see them on the outside looking in, at least from a casual sports fan, in my perspective of the NHL, is, at least in my opinion, a little surprising.
Yeah, I think so, too, and I'm interested to see what they do this year. The Kings have really been battling some injuries. Jonathan Quick, their goaltender, went down in the first game of the season and has pretty much missed the entire season. He came back last week and has looked pretty good since then. But the Kings, I think, if they're a team that's able to fight through and make it to the playoffs, we've seen in their history that they're very dangerous once they get in there. People forget in 2012 when they won their first Stanley Cup, they were the last team in the league to qualify for the playoffs. They got in on the last day and just went on an absolute tear through the playoffs on their way to their first Stanley Cup. So I definitely think they have the potential to do that again. That core that they have right now is still the same. Probably not quite as fast as they've been in the past 2 years, but they're a pretty heavy team. They've got some good talent on the back end, led by Drew Doughty back there. So anytime you have some franchise players like Jonathan Quick and Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, the Kings are going to be a dangerous team if they can get in. So they're in a dogfight with Calgary and St. Louis right now for that last wild card spot. St. Louis is only 4 points behind the Predators for third place in the Central Division. So they're kind of all right there together in the Western Conference. It's a little bit more set in the Eastern Conference. I think 7 of those 8 teams are pretty much locked in at this point. New York Islanders are the one I think that's going to have to hang on. Rangers look pretty good right now. I think those top 2 spots in the Metro Division with Washington and Pittsburgh are looking pretty good at the moment too. So the Western Conference race, I think, is going to be more interesting towards the end of this regular season, just because you have 3 or 4 teams fighting for 2 spots. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Being someone that lives in Nashville and covers Nashville, you said earlier that they are a stacked team, and I can't do anything but agree with you. What do you think their issue is with not being able to play to their fullest potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on it was a chemistry thing, because you make so many changes in the offseason. You trade your captain, Shea Weber, that's been there for 10 years. You bring in a guy like PK Subban, who's a great player in his own right, but Subban and Weber are just totally different, not only from a personality standpoint, but from an on-ice standpoint as well. I mean, Subban's a guy that really likes to get up in the play, join the rush offensively, is a dynamic player offensively, and Shea was more of a guy that kind of stayed back at home, used his powerful shot on the power play. So I think early on it took some time for the teammates to get used to Subban and get used to some of the new guys, some of the younger guys that they brought into the lineup. And then towards the middle of the season, they ran into a bit of an injury bug. I mean, Subban missed 16 games with an injury. Roman Josi was out 10 games with an injury. James Neal missed some time. So they were never really all healthy at the same time at the middle of the year. They're starting to get healthy now. They're starting to develop that chemistry now. And you see it on a more consistent basis now with this team. I think that they're bringing their A game more often. And when they do that, they're a very difficult team to beat. I mean, I thought they played pretty well against Chicago on Saturday night, just couldn't beat Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. Those two guys are on fire right now. So
it's hard to beat
I think they're playing
that.
some pretty good hockey.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that one as well, too. Robbie, before we let you go, I have to ask you just kind of a funny hockey question, just because a good friend of mine is a big hockey fan as well, too, and he always makes the jokes about how when somebody gets injured in hockey, they never specify if it's a hand, if it's a foot, it's always an upper body or a lower body injury. Do you find that silly that they don't actually specify, like, oh, he has a bruised right knee? It's like, no, he's got a lower body injury. Oh, he's got an upper body injury. Like, I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Okay,
like,
so I'm not the only one.
You have in
then.
football, if you can disclose injuries in football where you get hit every play, I think you can do it in hockey.
I agree.
Like, coaches now have even gone to the point where they won't even specify upper body or lower body. They just say on the body. And I'm like, well, thank you. That really helps me out a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he's gotten injured. Well, good. Well, Coach, we see that he's missing his right arm. Now it's just an upper body injury. We don't want to read into it too much. Be like, what?
Day to day.
Well, yeah, exactly. He'll be back tonight. Well, what? Fair enough. Well, Robbie, before we let you go, where can people find your writing and follow you on social media to keep up with the exciting hockey world?
Yeah, you can find my writing on NHL.com, and I'm on Twitter at rstanleyNHL, so you can find some of my smart and not so smart sayings there.
He's Twitter verified. He's super cool.
Ooh,
I am Twitter verified.
We are. It's an honor and a pleasure, sir. Well, thank you very much, Robbie, for joining us on the Morning Brew today, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me anytime.
Absolutely, Robbie. All right, there goes Robbie Stanley on the Morning Brew. Good to hear from him. Good to get the insight, especially from somebody that covers the league at such a high level as well, too. I mean, he works for the league, basically. So to get his lens on the game, I think, is very important and very unique as well, too. So anything that he said at all that kind of sticks out to you about some of the topics, the playoffs, prizes, Vegas?
He took a look at Vegas a little differently than I did. I guess I'm just a sour puss about it, and I just don't like that anything's going there, but he is right. There's so much to do in Vegas, and people go there and now it's a reason to go there, is to see these teams.
Yeah, of course.
I saw someone at the Admirals game the other day wearing a Golden Knights sweatshirt, which they don't even have a logo for, so that was interesting to me.
Wait, they had a sweatshirt without a logo?
It just said, like, their name.
Oh, I thought they had a logo.
Colors. Yeah, but I think someone, like some small private school, has a similar logo.
Oh, that's right. The whole copyright thing that people were freaking out about.
But he's right about them having to win right off the bat. Like, they have to have a quick.
Well, that's what you always wonder when you hear expansion teams as well, too. It's like, what is a realistic and or pleasurable finish for a professional, expansion team, without saying, well, if we don't win this, if we don't win the championship, we're a failure. Nobody does that.
Right.
This isn't like the entire league is starting fresh and all the teams are starting fresh, so obviously some expansion team's going to win. No, they're coming in against years and decades and eons worth of history of hockey teams that they now have to start from scratch, basically, and try to finish not in last place.
And find fans that already have their heart set on a different team. Vegas doesn't have a hockey team. The closest thing to them is, L.A. or Arizona,
Nevada's kind of just stuck out there in the middle of the desert, honestly. No. So, you've got California, you've got Arizona that are both kind of hanging around up there. So, maybe you've got fans that would, migrate over from them. I mean, if I was a Coyotes fan, I'd be like, our team sucks. Or if I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan, I'm going to be like, I'm moving to Vegas. I'm going to go and actually gamble my money and just cheer for a team that might actually have a chance.
Right.
I think Vegas will do better than Colorado did this year. I think that's a low bar to set, that you can be like, let's not get under 40 points.
Yeah, let's win more than 14 games or whatever they're at.
I feel like that's a pretty small bar to get to.
Yeah, I agree.
A reminder for all of you, of course, as you are watching us live here on Facebook, you can go check out our website. It's completely up, and it is beautiful, and it is running. You can catch all of the shows that you miss on demand by going to brewsportsnet.com. That's brewsportsnet.com. And go check us out there. You can find us on social media as well, too, at BrewSportsNet on Twitter and Instagram, and, of course, here on Facebook. And use the hashtag BrewSports as well to interact with what we're doing as well, too. I'm Baxter Colburn, at Baxter Colburn. You are Jaymee, at Jaymee_Evers.
Yep.
Because the E's, too many E's. Remember the too many E's. The 3 E's would be weird, apparently. All right, Jaymee. So one of the things I want to go back fast and make a couple of notes on some of the comments we were getting while Robbie was talking. I don't want to interrupt him with some of the other comments. But Greg says Tim Tebow should go to Vegas. I think I'm all aboard with that one. Robert says he can eat breakfast for dinner. That's how much, because we talked about pancakes earlier in the day. So he said he'd be all about that, basically. Greg says he loves a good hockey fight. Ryan says once the Coyotes move cities, I'll become a Vegas Golden Knights fan, apparently. So, I mean, they were in Phoenix. They were in all over the place for the Coyotes. That's an organization that needs a lot of help, honestly. So, good luck. All right. So, looking at the sports world, looking at one of the things we always hear is after you play, after even 8 to 10 years, basically, people start asking, well, when are you going to retire? When are you going to hang up the boots? When are you going to hang up the skates, put the bat down, et cetera, kind of thing. And sports is a funny world, because sometimes if you stay healthy and you stay out of trouble, you can play for a long time. Tom Brady's going to be 40 when the next NFL season starts. Guys like Julius Peppers are in their late 30s. James Harrison for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think he's going to be 38. He can still bench press a truck, for God's sakes. Like, he's in insane shape.
Not slowing down.
But it begs the question, though, and you and I were talking about this off the air, at what age should you stop playing pro sports? Not only for your own health, but for the good of the sport as well, too.
Do you think that there is a number, or is it just like person to person?
That's the hard thing. And that's the thing, because I don't know if we're going to see another player like Tom Brady for a long time, just because he's 40 years old. He really hasn't really had too many injuries. Granted, he's always been surrounded by really talented players to keep him safe, and he's been able to get rid of the ball and not take a lot of hits. But I don't know. I think it is almost more on a player-to-player basis. But if I'm 42 years old and I play hockey, I've never had an injury, maybe I'm not a starter, but I still get in on the rotation.
Yeah,
and I can, chip in 10, 15 goals a season still, and a couple assists here and there as well, too. I feel like most teams would still want that player.
Right. But then I guess you have to take a step back and look at their overall. Exactly.
If you're the oldest player on the team by 10 years, I think it might be time to move on. If the team is people are keeping you because you're a fan favorite, I mean, I don't feel like why would you do that?
Right. And I think football is the same way, late 30s is kind of that trickle down.
And every position is different, obviously. I mean,
right.
James Harrison's a linebacker. You hear kickers that'll be low 40s still playing, basically. I don't know. Greg wants to know if I'm ever going to retire. I don't know. He says never, we hope. Greg, I'm 25, so I hope not. I don't think so. I mean, can anybody truly ever retire from the sports world? Can they? I don't think they can. Are you ever going to retire, Jaymee?
One would hope so.
Maybe. You got to find your sugar daddy first.
I do.
Then you can retire at a young age.
This is not turning into that today.
No, it's not. We won't go that route, of course. But, I mean, it does come down to an issue of, is it good for the team? Is it good for the player? Because if I'm late 30s, never had an injury, consistently decent, I'm not an elite player anymore, in my mind, I would be like, well, why do I need to quit? Why do I need to retire? I could still make more money. I could still keep helping my team win potential championships.
But there's other ways that you can help your team too. You don't necessarily have to be on the field or on the ice.
That's true.
Like you
But
coach.
some of these athletes we hear just have this killer instinct, be like, I have to be on the field. I have to keep my team going. Like,
Well, you need to calm down. Not you.
well, yes,
them.
but I know what you're saying, of course. But like that, I mean, people are just like, I have to keep doing. Like Brett Favre didn't have to keep retiring and unretiring. Like Brett, you should have been done the first time. I don't know if Brett Favre coming back really did that much for the rest of his career. Maybe
Right.
it did.
Yeah.
It gave Minnesota a little bit of relevance for 2 years, which good for them. They needed that little boost again after like 100 years of being irrelevant. So that's fine. Good for them. But, guys like Tim Duncan playing 20 years. Dirk Nowitzki is going to be playing his 20th year of NBA basketball next year. Why? I mean, granted, maybe he's been playing since he was, maybe, a teen, so maybe he's late 30s and still. But once you get above like 35, 36 years old, I start questioning how effective you can be as a player, basically, and how effective you can be as a team carrying that older weight, basically. So, I don't know.
And I guess, too, like, you're looking at it, you're probably, as, like, a coach or whoever, there's always going to be someone younger and better to fill that spot. But I think if someone's valuable enough, and I get it, these guys spend their whole lives training for this, and
Yes.
it's all they know. All they know is football. All they know is hockey. All they know is baseball. It's not like they have, like, a side gig
Exactly.
doing waiting tables at IHOP on free pancake day. Like,
Maybe. That'd be a fun little promo.
would, but they're probably not doing that.
I wouldn't do that, no.
And I don't think they need that as a promo. Free pancakes are enough.
True.
But if they're valuable enough to an organization, like, put their health first, and then you can look okay on the outside, right? Like,
Yes.
Tom Brady, you look great on the outside. But is he like, is it,
Yes.
like you say, he doesn't get hit a lot. He's got, great people protecting him, whatever.
Yes.
But is his, like, does he get concussions? Like, has he ever been, you know what I mean? So I think sometimes you have to take a step back and just be like,
It's been fun, guys.
yeah.
Or, I mean, if you're like Tom Brady as well, too, and you've already won 5 Super Bowls, at what point do you be like, you know what, I think I'm good?
Right. But then I'm contradicting myself because last time we talked about him, I was like, yeah, go for the 6th. Like,
Yeah, go for
duh.
6. I know, that's the hard thing.
I
It's
don't
like,
know.
do you play for your health? Do you play for the opportunity to continue to cement yourself in history? Because realistically, like, guys that retire at 33 or 34 from professional sports, it's like, you've probably got 60 years of your life left.
Right.
In no other profession can you retire at 35 or even 40 and be like, well, I'm good now. I don't have to work another day in my life if I don't want to. Of course, pro sports paying is ridiculous. The normal person retires at, 64, 65?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, basically. Greg makes a good point here as well on Facebook. He says, no, people never retire. They just become analysts in the booth or sideline reporters or in the studio. How many times do we see former athletes as sideline reporters or commentators? Because like you said, that's all they know. That's all they live and breathe. Michael Strahan on NFL, Terry Bradshaw, guys that love sports. I mean, soccer commentators, baseball, any sport, really. Very rarely do you see them become the main man in the booth or the main female in the booth because the broadcasters have been doing their also profession for 30, 40 years. So it's very hard that you see them like completely unseat that person. But to have that knowledge next to you as a commentator, I think is very helpful.
Yeah, either a commentator or they're a, actor for a Wranglers commercial or whatever Brett Favre does now.
Hey, Brett, and he does some like weird like shaver
Yeah.
as well too. Must not be a lot of money down there in Mississippi, Brett. I don't know. But yeah, let us know your thoughts, comment and share, of course, of what you think. How old is too old to play pro sports, and your reasoning as well too behind it. Of do you think that people need to stop after a certain age, regardless if you are in good health or not, or if you think that you should keep playing until you basically can't do anything positive really anymore? There's a lot of different ways that you could really go with it, I feel like. So.
Yeah.
One player in the basketball world and the sports world as a whole that we don't necessarily know how long he's going to be playing on is going to be Andrew Bogut, and I think we need to transition into our Terrible Tuesday segment at this point. So our Terrible Tuesday, we talked about people that had bad Mondays that are probably having an equally terrible Tuesday at this point as well too. Did you have a good Monday?
I did. I had a relaxing Monday. I was here. I went to work.
Nothing too crazy?
Went home, made some tacos again.
Of course.
I love tacos.
You and your tacos. You and your cat having tacos.
Yeah.
Do you make little tacos for him?
I don't. He tries to eat them. He's kind of weird. Like begs like a dog, but
Cats.
Yeah.
I never understood cats. I had 2
Neither.
cats for a little while, and then Got rid of them.
You got rid of them?
They went to a good friend, okay? I didn't just, like, put them in the backyard and be like, like, I didn't do that. Like, guess what, honey, we're having cat for dinner.
I don't think I could, like, he's so cute.
But, I mean, at what point, though?
Yeah, but they're so easy to take care of. You just pick up their poop and you feed them. That's it.
Sounds like a newborn.
So easy. No. Your newborn probably wakes you up in the middle of the night. Harold wakes me up, too.
Harold. I love that name, by the way. Harold. Harold the cat. Brew says tacos are life. I agree, Brew. What kind of tacos do you like? I'm more of a fish taco guy myself, personally. I like the cod, like the salmon. Bel Air Cantina here in the Milwaukee area. Big fan of them. All about that taco life. But I can't have tacos like every day, though. I can have pasta every day because I'm Italian, but the whole tacos thing, I can't. I could maybe do tacos like twice a day, or twice a week. Yeah, maybe twice a day if they're really good. I don't know. Things to think about, I guess. All right, so our Terrible Tuesday. Give us a little bit more insight here, Jaymee, of what is so terrible about Tuesday, especially for the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, well, they first of all lost last night to the Heat.
Again.
106 to 98.
Sad.
They've lost their second game in the last 3 days, which I'm sure is not sitting very well with them. I don't know if they're used to that.
Say it ain't so.
So, as we said, Andrew Bogut lasted all of 58 seconds and left with a fractured left tibia.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And he had just signed with the team as well, too, which makes it even worse.
Thursday.
Something like that, yeah. Late last week he signed with them, but moments, like, literally, like, the game starts like, woo, we're playing Andrew Bogut. Oh, his leg's broken. Like, what happens now?
He said, they said, too, that he walked back to the locker room and he was like, hey, guys, like, my leg's broken. I know it.
How do you walk on a broken leg? I've never broken a leg, though, so I guess I don't know what that entails.
Well, it probably wasn't like in
yeah.
half, obviously.
I mean, I'm sure people, if you walked back to the locker room, that, of course, begs the question of like, well, okay, it can't be that bad then.
And then everyone's asking, too, or LeBron was playing, both games that they lost, so everyone's freaking out about that. Oh, God, LeBron.
Maybe LeBron should retire.
Maybe. No, not yet.
He's won 3 championships.
He has.
Let somebody else win, LeBron. Give somebody else the ball on the playground, LeBron.
Go be an analyst, LeBron.
Seriously, he'd probably be a good analyst. He'd be a good actor. He is a good actor.
Yeah, he's funny.
I would be all about LeBron having an acting career.
However, their coach was out. Their coach was out with flu-like symptoms for the last week.
So you think that maybe has been the issue? Is that the coaching has been bad?
That their assistant coach sucks? Just kidding. I don't even know his name, so I can't really talk
You know
about
you
him.
suck, whoever you are, assistant coach. But, I mean, at what point, though, is it not the coach anymore?
Yeah, like
If
these
it's
are grown
players.
men that have played basketball.
If this was like the first game or two of the year, I'd be like, okay, like they haven't gotten the systems down yet, but we're weeks away from the playoffs.
Right.
You know who you are at this point as an organization.
Yeah.
Get your crap together, Cleveland.
That's true.
You know?
And it's not like, you have a missing piece of the puzzle, I guess, and it doesn't fit together, but they're adults and they've played this sport for a very long time.
Exactly.
And they know what they're
Especially
doing.
when LeBron's on the court. He's basically the coach when he's on the court anyway. So if he couldn't rally the troops.
Crying coach.
Crying coach? Is he crying?
He's just a baby.
Really? Why do you think LeBron's a baby?
Because he just complains about everything.
What?
Flops over here, flops over there. This should have been a foul. That shouldn't have been a foul. I'm LeBron.
Well, when the media blows you up, basically, I mean, that's why I think so many people, or that's why LeBron, I think, has this skewed view of himself. He's very dramatic.
Yeah, he is dramatic.
I guess so. Well, regardless of the results, Cleveland is going to 42-20 right now. They're 3 games up on the Boston Celtics for first place in the Eastern Conference. So they're 6-4 over the last 10 games. I'm really not reading too much into it. Boston has also lost their last 2 games as well, which has been a huge factor in Cleveland still staying in first place. So Boston, you missed an opportunity, I feel like, to unseat the reigning champions, Cleveland Cavaliers. So anything else that you want to add to your Terrible Tuesday segment there, Jaymee?
No, I don't think so. I already got my Vegas rant out of the way, so...
It's true. It's true you did. All right, let's move into some yes drama, because we love our hashtag yes drama here on the program, of course. I mean, that's another good way to interact with at least the Morning Brew, hashtag Brew Sports, hashtag yes drama on Facebook and Twitter. What's your yes drama moment of the day so far, Jaymee?
Of the day.
Or of the week, maybe. I mean, I know it's Tuesday, so I don't know how many yes drama
the week's
things.
Pretty short.
Sometimes there's drama, though, that creeps in. You can pull from the weekend as well, too, if you think
I'm trying
there's...
to think. I don't know if I have any yes drama
Really?
yet. Yeah, it's early.
It's still early in the week, and
I
you
live a
of
very
all people-
dramatic free life.
Do you? I feel like you're a pretty dramatic gal.
Me?
You were calling, LeBron a baby, so I feel like it takes one drama queen to identify another, basically, sometimes.
I don't think I'm a drama queen.
Maybe
a
not.
little bit.
Maybe a little
I
bit.
feel like everybody kind of is.
What sets you off? Like when somebody says or does something to you, like what is it? You're like, would you stop, Justine? Like, would you stop, Paula? I'm trying to.
I just don't like I hate when I go, like when I'm with my friends and they're rude. Like I cannot
rude?
stand.
To you or just in general?
No,
like
be rude to
server
me.
or
That's
whatever?
fine. I'll snap back at you. Like being rude to people that they don't know. Like I don't have a problem, and a lot of my friends will vouch for this because they always yell at me about it. Like if you did something rude or I didn't like what you did, like I would tell you, like, hey Baxter, like your shirt looks dumb. I probably wouldn't say that, but
It's fine. You can say it.
I would never say it to a stranger.
Of course.
Like no, because that's rude.
It is
but
rude.
I'm trying to help you out.
Thank you. As my
Yeah,
friend, I
right.
appreciate that.
So
I'm trying to look good.
I don't like people that are rude to strangers. Like say hello to someone, hold the door open,
Yeah.
say please, say
Common
thank you.
courtesy, manners.
Right.
It's just bad parenting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand for that either. I try to be nice to strangers as well too. I mean, because you never know who that person is. I mean, how many times have you heard people like are rude to strangers and the next day they go for a job interview and that stranger's the person they're interviewing?
How many times have you heard that?
I've heard that multiple
No,
times.
you have
I have
not.
heard
Stop.
stories like
No.
that. Yes. Yes, I have. Yes,
I
I
have never heard anything like
I
that.
cannot be the only person that thinks that situation has been told to them.
I've never ever.
Really?
If someone has ever had that happen to them or have had it happen to a friend, please let us know because I think Baxter is pulling this one out of thin
I
air.
don't think so. No. I mean, how many times have you seen that? I mean, I know even in movies, but like how many times have you seen or heard about other stories like that where you meet a stranger on an elevator and you're nice to them or you're mean to them and then, or like you ride
watch
like,
too many
like the
movies.
classic thing, you get in an elevator with somebody and you're just huffing and puffing about, I've got this interview, I don't want to go to this, blah, 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 and you both get up the elevator, the person, you walk into the same place, that person then goes into the office, does their
This sounds
thing.
like a movie that your wife made you
It's
watch.
not, maybe, but still, like, it's happened before. I guarantee you that there have been people out there that have had something like this happen before, and they are just holding off commenting because
No, they
they're
have
writing
not.
their stories about how they have done something foolish to a stranger, then that stranger ended up being somebody that was a person of importance to them. Guaranteed.
No, that has never happened in real life.
What?
No.
I absolutely believe that it has.
No, I don't.
But how would you feel if that did happen to you?
It wouldn't because I'm a polite person.
But what if you weren't?
Well, then that would suck for me, and I don't deserve the job. You should be nice to everybody.
This is going to happen to you next job interview you go to.
Yeah, well, good thing I'm nice to everyone. They're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you were that girl that helped me put my cart away at the grocery store the other day." And
You're such
you're
a sweet
hired
girl.
already. And
Here's
I'll be
a
like,
job. 401k.
Thank you.
Package, pension, everything. You're golden.
nice.
Yeah, here's $100,000.
That's gonna happen to me.
I guess so. I don't think I'm making this up, but maybe
I think you
maybe
are.
I am. See, look, Brew.
Brew, no, you have not.
I've heard stories for sure. Thank you, Brew. Brew's got my back. He knows. I knew if I kept talking about it long enough, somebody would agree with me.
No, it's definitely something from a movie.
Maybe, okay, well, if it is from a movie, I'd like to know what movie it's from. So with all those people, all of our wonderful viewers watching, if this is the scenario where you meet the stranger, you're rude to the stranger, and then you end up having a job interview with them later, and they end up being like, oh, it was you, kind of a thing. Or like, even like a dating sort of a thing. Yeah, Dave says, I think I saw the same thing happen on the Bravo channel.
Yeah,
Come on.
because that's all real life.
Bravo is real life, of course.
I love Bravo.
Everybody knows Bravo is real life. No, I don't think Bravo's real life. But I truly believe that there has been things like this that have happened. It's never happened to me personally, of course, because I'm a fantastic interview. I do really well when it
Even
comes.
if you didn't hold the door open for them.
I still am
That's
a
fucking
very Bill says every Lifetime movie ever,
Yeah.
basically. I get that. I mean, Lifetime puts out good movies. I have no problem with Lifetime. Anyway, so yeah, be nice to strangers because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know if they're going to be a job interview. You never know if you're going to be serving them at a restaurant later. Maybe you're going to be serving them a drink. What if you, as a bartender,
I'm a nice bartender.
are you?
For
What if
the
you're just
most
having a
part.
crappy night? What if we're just slammed and everybody just wants, top shelf liquor and you're just tired of being called Shaq all
I mean,
night?
I can reach the top shelf. So
I know you can, but I'm saying, like, you get that one person that comes in, and here we go. Tika, she says, someone just told me a story of that happening to them. I support you, Baxter. Thank you, Tika.
She's just trying to get on your good
My
side.
girl. See, she knows. I see. I feel like people, this is real life. This happens. You just need to get out more.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That is what it is.
I don't know. Jeff says, wait, Jamie's never been the road rage instigator? Have you ever been the road rage instigator? I don't know. I mean, Jamie seems so nice. Like, I feel like there's this dark side of Jamie, though, too, that needs to get dug out more.
Road rage, probably not. I drive a manual car anyways, so it's like I have to think while I drive.
More
so I
power
don't have
to you.
time to like yell at other people.
So if I'm flying and I cut you off, hypothetically, if
I brake check people all the time.
if I really need to get to that exit and I just go right in front of you, are you going to be like, son of a, like, or
Well, yeah, but that's it. Then I didn't like chase him down. I brake check people a lot though. Like, get off my butt. I brake check.
Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, get away. Like, get out of here. I'm in the slow lane.
You don't know me. Why are you in the slow lane, though?
I don't.
Get out of the slow
I'm
lane.
not.
Get in the fast lane. What the heck? People don't have time for that. All right, Jamie, as we wrap things up, a very special thanks to the NHL.com correspondent Robbie Stanley for joining us earlier in the program as well. Special thanks to all of you wonderful people for watching as well. It was wonderful to get the comments. It's National Pancake Day. Go eat your pancakes. Go to IHOP. IHOP does not sponsor Morning Brew, but if they want to, they can give us a call. Go check out IHOP. Go check out all the yummy goodness that stems from that. Final thoughts from you, Jamie, before we wrap this up and move along with the rest of the day. Are you going to go get pancakes, or you just don't have time for that kind of jazz?
Well, I don't have time, and I would not go get them if I did. No.
Strange.
I like when my grandma makes me pancakes, and that's literally like it.
Adorable. That's adorable.
She's adorable.
You're adorable.
Oh.
Well, on that note, she's Jamie Evers. I'm Baxter Colburn. Make sure to check out the next programming coming up here on Brew Sports. It will be halftime at 11 a.m. Central Time today here live on Brew Sports. Mitch Vomhoff sitting in for the man, the myth, the legend, Tanner Burke. So we will have that coming up for you at 11 a.m. Central Time. Go check out our website, brewsportsnet.com, and find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at BrewSportsNet. She's Jamie. I'm Baxter. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Don't make it terrible. Go get some free pancakes. We'll see you back here again tomorrow on the Morning Brew. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.